What is good? Senior Gestapo here, aka Leroy Jenkins. Right now I'm going to be going over all of the attachments for the AUG submachine gun. Let's get into it. And I'm only quickly going to be going over the attachments, but I will be making videos about my favorite attachments for each gun. But until then, I'm just going to quickly go over it, so let's get into it. First off, we have the muzzles. First for the muzzles, we have the CQB breacher device. Pros melee damage, cons aimed on sight speed and aim walking steadiness, enables one hit melee kills. Next is the tactical suppressor. Pros sound suppression, cons aimed on sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Now we have the flash guard. Pros muzzle flash concealment, cons bullet velocity. Now we have the monolithic suppressor. Pros sound suppression and damage range, cons aimed on sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Next up, the muzzle brake. Pros recoil stabilization, cons aimed on sight speed and aiming stability. Now we have the compensator. Pros recoil control, cons aimed on sight speed and aiming stability. After that, the lightweight suppressor. Pros sound suppression, cons damage range. Now we have the barrels. First up, the 407mm extended barrel. Pros damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, cons aim down sight speed. Additional weight stabilizes shots but slows handling. Now we have the 407mm lightweight. Pros damage range, bullet velocity, cons aim down sight speed. Alloy barrel extension extends range and muzzle velocity with minimal additional weight. Now we have the 622mm long barrel. Pros damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, cons aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Heavy weight, smooth handling. After that, we have the lasers. First off, we have the 1mW laser. Pros hipfire accuracy, and there are no cons. The laser is undetectable by your enemies. Now we have the 5mW laser. Pros hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, cons laser visible to enemies. Exposes position when active, only for the aggressive. Now we have tac laser, high powered 5mW tactical green laser. Pros aimed on sight speed, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness, cons laser visible to enemies. Improves accuracy while aiming on sights, exposes position when active. Next up, we have the optics. First up for the optics, the operator reflex sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the Corp Combat Hollow 7. Corp Combat Hollow Sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. After that, the aim op reflex sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the GI mini reflex. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Thin frame for an unobstructed sight picture. Now we have the Scout Combat Optic. Precision optic with a 3.25 times magnification for long range targeting. Pros zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the APX5 holographic sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Next up, the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Next up, the VLK 3.0 times optic. 3.0 times magnification provides reliable targeting. Pros zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the thermal hybrid. 3.25 times thermal scope, side mounting reflex sight, toggles the thermal imaging with a flick of the wrist, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros reflex and thermal toggle, and zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the Viper reflex sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. After that, the PBX Hollow 7 sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the Solo Zero NVG enhanced. Enhanced 3.25 Gen 3 night vision with thermal overlay for enhanced situational awareness, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros thermal target identification and zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Next up, the Cronin LP945 mini reflex. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the 4.0 times flip hybrid. Long range 4.0 optic manually flips to closer range holographic sight. Pros hollow and scout toggle and zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the monocle reflex sight. Pros precision sight picture, cons aim down sight speed, low intrusion frame for improved target tracking. Now we have the integral 3.0 optic. Scope with a 3 times magnification provides superior targeting. Pros zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the Cronin C480 Pro optic. 3.5 times magnification provides excellent targeting. Pros zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the Merc thermal optic. 3.25 times scope with thermal imaging, highlights targets and provides visibility in all lighting conditions, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros thermal target identification and zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the integral hybrid 3.25 times scout with integral reflex sight for quickly transitioning between sights. Pros reflex and scout toggle and zoom level, cons aim down sight speed. Now we have the stocks. First up for these stocks, the FTAC Ultralight Hollow. Pros aim walking movement speed, cons aiming stability. Keep shooter agile while aiming down sights. Then we have the Forge Tag CQB Comb. Pros aim down sight speed. Cons aiming stability, gets you on target faster. Next up, the FSS Heavy Stock Pro. Pros aiming stability, cons aim walking movement speed, provides stability while aiming. Next up are the under barrels. First up, the Merc foregrip. Pros recoil control, hipfire accuracy, cons aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Provides stability from the hip for fast-paced guerrilla tactics. Now we have the Commando foregrip. Pros recoil stabilization, aiming stability, cons movement speed, keeps the weapon steady while aiming, helps maintain control during heavy fire. Now we have the tactical foregrip. Pros aiming stability, cons movement speed, streamlined foregrip provides superior control acquiring targets. Now we have the Ranger foregrip. Pros recoil control, aiming stability, cons aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Stabilizes weapon while aiming for improved long-range combat. Now we have the Operator foregrip. Pros recoil control, cons aim down sight speed. Helps control vertical recoil for faster follow-up shots. Next up, the ammunition. First off, we have the 32 round mags. Holds 32 rounds of 9mm parabellum ammunition with a slight weight increase. Pros magazine ammo capacity, cons aim down sight speed and movement speed. Next up is the 5.56 NATO 30 round mags. Conversion kit used 30 round 5.56 NATO mags for increased stopping power, slightly lower cycle rate to help control recoil. Pros damage and range, cons recoil control. Now we have the 5.56 NATO 60 round drums. 5.56 NATO conversion kit with 60 round drums, lower mobility, magazine ammo capacity. Pros damage, range, magazine ammo capacity, cons aim down sight speed and movement speed. Next up is the rear grip. First off, we have the granulated grip tape. Pros: aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. Cons: aim walking movement speed, keeps you steady and on target. Rubberized grip tape. Pros: recoil control. Cons: aiming stability, less steady but helps control recoil. After that is the stippled grip tape. Aimed on sight speed and sprint to fire speed are the pros. Cons: aiming stability, less stable but very agile. Now we're on to the perks. First off, for the perks is FMJ for increased bullet penetration and damage against equipment and kill streaks. Next up is Heavy Hitter. Melee produces greater stun on targets. After that is Recon. See enemy nameplates at greater distances. We have Frangible Wounding. Bullets cause target healing to be briefly delayed. After that, Sleight of Hand for reload quickness. Next up is Fully Loaded. Start with maximum reserve ammo. After that, Mo Money. Earn additional XP for kills. Headshot XP. Then we have Frangible Disabling. Bullets slow enemy movement and briefly disable tactical sprint when shooting legs. Next up is Fast Melee for melee quickness. Last but not least, we have Burst. Changes fire mode to 3-round burst. And that is it for the AUG submachine gun. Like I said, I will be making more videos about my favorite attachments for this gun, but until then, have a good day and